Hello, my name is Murakami. White Sox Nation, you guys in my heart. White Sox. Yeah.
Yeah, Murakami brought the White Sox to his White Sox press conference. They land the Japanese slugger. We wondered aloud for a number of weeks who was going to take the chance on a guy with a very low contact rate but enormous power capabilities, and it's the Chicago White Sox. Part of an offseason overhaul that Joel Sherman rejoins us to discuss. Does this and other things, does it do anything more than make the White Sox interesting? Is it going to make them good enough to be talked about this year?
No. So I literally, in the post today, it's up online, it's in the newspaper, this is the opening sentence to the thing is, here's a sentence I did not anticipate writing when the offseason began. I really like what the White Sox are doing. Right? And I do, and you know how I know I like it? I think there's a high chance that the big things they did, those three things on the right, there is a high likelihood that they go wrong. And I still think a team in their situation should be doing players like this. Like, I don't mean to, like Zach Littell, for example, is a good major league pitcher. He doesn't make sense on the White Sox. I know what he's going to do next year. A team like this has to go for upside. They've lost more games, 324 over the last 3 years. It's the third most in the history of the game, right? And yet they made a 19-game improvement last year, which was the second best in baseball to Toronto. So they'd like to keep improving. And to me, I listed 6 things that I like about these 3 moves. Number 1, there's upside for each, and let's talk about that later. But you could make a case for upside in each. If the upside doesn't work out, nobody has more than a 2-year commitment. The total outlay is less than the Mets gave Devin Williams. It's $50.5 million. It's money they have, and they're done with it in 2 years. If it's terrible, you're the end of the 2027 season away from it being done. 3, no prospects are being blocked by any of these guys. There's like not a shortstop there. So Colson Montgomery isn't like being, oh my God, what are we going to do with Colson Montgomery? If it works out, you help this year's team, right? They made the 19-game improvement. If you talk to Chris Getz, they want to continue steady improvement towards real contention, which I don't think could come this year, even if it all works out. 5, if it works out, these are the kind of guys, either this July or next July, you can trade
for sure,
and get more chips for that future. And lastly, because of Murakami, a team that would not traditionally open the Japanese market has opened up the Japanese market to them. And if they do this right, maybe other players will say, I got treated right here. It's a big city with a direct flight to Tokyo when you're in Chicago, right? It's not coastal. It's certainly not the West Coast, but it opened it up. And again, I think that you can make a case on why all of these moves will not make and work out, and I think that's probably the likelihood. But if I lost 100-plus games each of the last 3 years, this is what I'd be doing.
No doubt. I like the Murakami signing, too. Having watched him in WBC, spent time with him, I know there's a lot of swing rate, chase rate. I look at it this way. Who throws more splits than anybody in the world? We watched the World Series, how hard it is to hit a split. That's what they throw in Japan.
Yep.
So the swing rate, I'm not as concerned as many others are, because I think he's not going to see 20 splits in 25 pitches like you would in Japan. But I do think my suggestion to the White Sox, get him with Jim Thome today.
So
that's one of your special advisors.
All right.
Get him with Jim Thome today.
So to me, there's 2 really fascinating things about this, Harold. One is you have to take care of the opportunity when it comes to you. This was an offseason. We were talking about it last segment. We're still waiting for Bregman. We're still waiting for Tucker, Bellinger. There were teams that may have had Murakami as their second, third, or fourth option, but they weren't ready to go quickly, and he had a 45-day window. So we went from thinking he's going to have 5, 6, 7 years to he was willing to do 2. The White Sox jumped into that breach and are willing to do 2. The other thing is his problem is swing and miss in the zone and velocity. but he didn't train in Japan for these things. They didn't do high-speed velocity machines. They don't do traject. So the question is, at 25, 26, by the way, that's his age, can he close the gap? On the downside, you know what you have? You have Joey Gallo without either the defense or the base running. It's going to be a low batting average, tons of strikeouts. It's going to be a failure. The upside is some version of Adam Dunn, Kyle Schwarber. Like a guy who's going to, the power, nobody doubts the power. The question is, will he get to it, the power? If he does, think about what that means in the middle of your lineup for no less than between now and July, and maybe being able to trade him. Like if this guy's going off the first half of the year and realizes he's close this, and they trade him in July, they could get a haul.
They could also be sitting on a dead 3-year deal. The way the Red Sox 2-year deal. Sorry, the way the Red Sox are sitting on a dead deal with.
That's 5 years.
And that's.
See, that's why I like
killed them.
One of the things I liked about this is it's 2 and done.
Yeah.
And they don't have, besides Luis Robert and Andrew Benintendi, who both contracts run out after 2027 too, they have no long-term commitments. So this is it.
Yeah, nobody's saying the White Sox have to get in the postseason or the whole front office is going to be done.
And I would be making plays. Like Anthony Kay is coming back from Japan. He just had 2 very good seasons, including a great one last year. He added velocity, 3 miles per hour. He added a cutter. He's going to be given runway in the White Sox rotation. Like if he's signed by the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Phillies, like if he has 5 bad starts, he's out. In this rotation, Anthony Kay is going to be given some runway. He could be a starter. He might only end up being a reliever. If he's either and he's good, you can trade him.
He might be that left hand the Astros are missing.
It's a 2-year, $10 million commitment that's over next year. And the last one was Newcomb down there, who for the A's last year pitched very well out of the bullpen and suddenly controlled what had been a career-long bad walk rate. Was that a 50-inning blip? Or do you suddenly have a guy who learned something, was a former first-round draft choice, like Kay? By the way, like Jarrett Kelenic. They signed him to a minor league deal.
Right.
These are the kind of guys. I would assume Kelenic, because of the strikeout rate, is going to fail. But if I'm the White Sox, I'm like, I've lost 100 games. I've got to try guys who can, like, change my arc by either playing really well for me or playing really well for me, and then I trade them. Because they have to keep building towards something, and safe to me for them doesn't make any sense. I could lose 100 playing it safe, or I could lose 100 going for it.
Yeah. And the biggest thing that stands out to me was what they did with Colson Montgomery. Like, send him down to Arizona. We're not worried about A-ball. We're not worried about AA. You're going to go down there, and you're just going to practice. You're going to be an athlete, and you're just going to practice until we get your swing right. Then we'll insert you back into the organization. That's thinking outside the box.
So can I add one other thing that they acquired this offseason? They won the draft lottery. They have the #1 pick in the draft also. And people think it's going to be the UCLA shortstop. Am I going to pronounce his last name right?
No, you're
Rock
not.
Kowalski.
Yeah. No, you
got it.
You got it. You got it.
Brooklyn. There's other guys that people like. I talked to 3, scouting directors. They kind of like put him on someplace. They said he's someplace between Brandon Crawford and Troy Tulowitzki. Okay, well if they add that in July, that's a hell of a thing to add also. And some think other guys might bounce ahead of him. But they added that in the offseason. They still might have a trade for Luis Robert. There are teams nosing around, including the Mets, on Luis Robert. My suspicion is they'll go into the season, see if he could build some value, and trade him if he does.
Right.
Like, I think they're in position. And if you like Will Venable, which they do a great deal, they feel they have the right manager in place now also.
And if you like the White Sox for this year, they can be had at an 80-1 long shot to win the AL Central. Joel, good stuff, man. Appreciate that.